Welcome one and all. Let's face it, in fiction, pirates are cool. Stories about plunder and treasure have existed, well, since pirates existed, and have never failed to entertain. But what about in gaming? Well, one thing I think we can probably all agree on from the get-go, the best pirate game ever is Asassins Creed Black Flag. Hard to believe it was released all the way back in 2013, still by far and away one of my top 10 games of all time, and definitely my favourite Assassin's Creed game. But of course, just because Black Flag is the best, doesn't mean there aren't other games to choose from where you can be a pirate. So I've put together a little list of some that I consider to be among the best. Always let me know if you agree with my choices or just what you think of them in the comments, and let's begin our swashbuckling adventure list with Assassin's Creed Rogue. And before you say you're cheating just mentioning another Assassin's Creed game, so many people slept on this one. I just think it deserves a brief mention. I did do a full video about it, I'll put a link on the end screen if you want to see it in more detail. It's basically Assassin's Creed Black Flag 1.5. There are some differences where you play as a Templar as opposed to an Assassin, which puts a nice little spin on it. It's the only game in the series that lets you play for the other side that I'm aware of anyway. And it is just what made Black Flag great, more of it, which I don't see as a bad thing in any way whatsoever. My personal theory about why it slipped underneath so many people's radar is because it came out inexplicably around the same time as Assassin's Creed Unity, which got a lot more of attention. Not all of it positive because of the glitches, but a lot more attention anyway. You could say it's a little bit uninspired and typical Ubisoft, a bit of a copy-paste job, but when you're copy and pasting the best, which is Black Flag, how is that a bad thing? As I've already said, it's a great game. There are actually some differences. Whilst the gameplay is very similar, the story and everything is very different, and I highly encourage anybody who enjoyed Black Flag to give this game a good go.
This mad grab for power.
Now to something all more retro. Originally released in 1987, Sid Meier's Pirates was the name in pirate games for a very long time. Here I'm going to talk about the 2004 remake, released on Windows, the original Xbox, Wii and the PSP, because I haven't played the original. Let me know if you have and if it's any good. It's very different to the more modern games like the two Assassin's Creed games I've mentioned, with the way it controls and just the general spirit of the game, to be fair. So you do have to go into this with the knowledge of it's a retro style game and I'm getting something quite different from the more modern style ones. And it does have turn-based combat, but it is still a lot of fun. You sail around the Caribbean looking for things to do. All sorts of quests can be found. There's a ton of mini games in this, which does keep it fresh as well. And the story is fantastic. Before the 2004 remake, when this game originally came out in 1987, you have to remember that gameplay options were a lot more limited. So story received so much focus, and it really shows. If you're in the mood for something a little bit nostalgic, with a really engaging story, then do give this one a go. It's a very famous game for a very good reason. And as I've already said, if you have played the original, let me know what that's like, because I haven't and I'm curious. Of course, not all pirate games need to be serious. Some can be outright silly, such as Monkey Island, a series of spoofs starring Guybrush Threepwood, quite possibly one of the world's most useless pirates. Now, I'm showing you the trailer from the latest entry. I think it came out in 2022, late 2022 from memory. This art style won't be for everybody. If I'm perfectly honest, it's not for me. I much prefer the 3 previous entries and the art style there, but each to their own. The good news is you can get the original 3 games on pretty much anything, even just on your mobile or your tablet. It's point and click, silly, stupid fun, incredibly engaging, wonderful puzzles, really get your brain thinking, and if you're going to play a point and click game, make it Monkey Island. Just maybe start with the first trilogy. They look so much better, and they're cheaper too. we're delving back into the retro here with 2002's Pirates: Legend of Black Cat, released in 2002 on the PS2 original Xbox as well. This is a mid-1700s tale of plunder, pillaging, swashbuckling, vengeance and treasure. Command mighty ships at sea, cut down enemies on land, and above all else, have a great time doing it. There's plenty of places to explore, be them coves, ports, and of course a nice selection of islands. Battle against other human opponents, other pirates and people trying to capture you, as well as some strange and very dangerous creatures as well. This game gets a bad rap, it really does, and I don't know why, because I think it's an absolute blast. Nobody talks about it anymore. Of all the games on this list, this is the hidden gem, in my opinion. Is it perfect? No. Is it 10 to 12 hours of good piratey fun? Absolutely. I like this game. I think it's great. It's pretty cheap to pick up. If you've got a PS2 or an OG Xbox, or you play on PC and can get hold of it, give it a go. Honestly, I don't think you'll regret it. Sea of Thieves, released in 2018, and it's now available on the PS5 as well, in case you weren't aware. How could I not put this one in? Apart from anything else, I've been struggling for more modern games. I don't want to just give you all retro, I like to give you a selection. I haven't played this one a lot, so I haven't got a huge amount to say about it, as if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know I don't do a lot of the online gaming. But it's been well received by a lot of people, it's been played by an awful lot of people, and my nephews think it's absolutely great fun. Team up with some mates, you're in a vast open world, you're pirates. I mean, how can it not be fun being pirates? That's the whole concept of this list. Pirates are fun. Ship battles, land battles, exploration, team up with your mates, team up with other people you meet along the way, or just go straight for the battling, pillaging and plundering. It's all up to you. It's a good game which you've probably played if you're already interested in it, but if not, and you like online games, could be worth a go. Stretching the rules a little bit here, because this is a pirate game, but you're a sky pirate as opposed to in the sea. It is Skies of Arcadia, and pirates get the JRPG treatment here, as you board your ship that flies. Instead of sails in the sea, it sails for skies instead. Apart from that, they actually keep quite true to the pirate theme, in fairness to them all. It is very much a traditional JRPG. You get your tropes like your turn-based combat, your experience points to level up, that sort of thing. You use your airship to navigate around 6 regions, and then off you go on foot to explore and conquer or do whatever you need to do. You can recruit others to your crew along the way. On land, there's some great dungeons to go through, which are more like mazes, with boss battles frequently found at the end of them as well. It's something different. If you're watching this list, you might be wanting to find a pirate game, and I doubt this would have come up on any internet searches. It's always good to think outside the box. That way you can find games that otherwise you might miss out on. Just beware, it is very much a traditional JRPG, so make sure that's your cup of tea before you go trying to pick it up. It's only available on the Dreamcast and the GameCube, and unfortunately quite pricey, so could be one for you emulation fans out there. Risen 2 Dark Waters, released in 2012 for the PS3, Xbox 360 and PC. This is a fantasy action RPG with a pirate theme, as opposed to a full pirate game, which I think is where perhaps people had the wrong expectations when it first came out and why it didn't get the greatest reviews. That, and it came out a year before Black Flag, which is unfortunate timing because now it's always going to be compared to that game and it's never going to live up to it. However, there is a good game here, especially if you like your fantasy games. You get a great selection of weapons, good variety of locations as well. You get an AI companion that can join you if you so wish. It leans quite heavily in the fantasy, but again with the theme, so you'll get like the Kraken and things like that, as well as zombie pirates killed by the captain so they couldn't reveal the location of the treasure chest, because we all know dead men tell no tales. As I've said with other games here, If you set your expectations correctly, this isn't going to be a true pirate game with ship combat and things like that, because there isn't any ship combat, which is a real shame actually, because that's the best part of pirate games, but I digress. It's just a good RPG set in the time of pirates, with lots of fantasy elements. Good story, just a good game in general. It's solid, it's enjoyable, it's another cheap pickup as well, and could be worth giving it its time to shine. So what do we all think? Any games there tickling your fancy that you might want to give a go to? Anything I've missed off which should have gone in the list? Let me know. I've put a link, which you should be seeing now, to my video about Assassin's Creed Rogue if you're interested, and I will see you very, very soon. Ta-da for now.